The weather outside may be frightful, but your financial outlook for 2020 is oh so delightful. That was bad. What's up guys, Frankie here. This is the money resolution, and this is actually the first video of the money resolution, the course. So welcome if you're new to the channel. The plan is to create a series of 12 of these videos each and every month at the beginning of every month and put these all together at the very end and package them up as a course to sell online. And with that in mind, since this is sort of an ongoing project that I'm sharing here on YouTube, I love feedback, so if you have any thoughts about this video or this series, be sure to drop a comment below. Also below in the description is sort of this 3-page, maybe even 4-page Google Doc that I use to put this video together. So if you want the transcript of that, you can click on that. That will also link you back to all of the tips for all 12 of the videos that I've already outlined if you sort of want to peek ahead at the bullet points. The purpose of these videos is to walk you through sort of step by step, month by month, all the best tips and resources and strategies that I recommend to get your finances in order from basically ground zero in 1 year. And even if you're not starting from ground zero financially, I think there's gonna be a lot of great tips and information in this series, so I do hope you stick around and watch them all. I'll get this out of the way now. I super appreciate a like if you like this video and this series. Definitely be sure to subscribe so that you'll get notified when these videos do come out in the future. In each video, here's sort of the structure. I'm going to provide 5 tips, one sort of hack that may or may not apply to you. That's why it's not in the main tips. And I'm also going to provide a media recommendation. So this could be a book that I challenge you to read that month, a TV show, a movie, or maybe even a podcast or blog. Each video is going to have a very loose theme. The loose theme for January is going to be, of course, new beginnings. So this is all about a fresh start in 2020, or any year really. I do highly recommend you have a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen nearby. That way you can sort of engage with the videos and really start taking action right away, either writing down the tips or notes or thoughts or ideas. There are a couple tips in this list that actually do ask you to write a couple things down. And yes, even some very basic math. Let's jump right in. I tried to include only tips that I felt were relevant to most people and that there was a concrete step and outcome to accomplishing and checking this tip off the list. This is the only one that's a little bit fluffy and philosophical, but I do think it's important to lead with this idea. We're gonna have a conversation. This is all about challenging your money mindset. The first sort of subpart here is to stop comparing. You're never gonna keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians, I don't know. It's very easy to think about what you don't have and compare to what other people do have. I think social media exasperates the problem. So that's one thing you could do to take action, is to go on social media, specifically Instagram, less. There's some study or statistic out there I'm remembering that sort of talks about the threshold for income, where your level of happiness starts to flatten off. And I think it's something like $77,000. So people that make more than that don't report being any happier than the people that make that amount of money. That really kind of hits home and makes you think about money isn't the root of all happiness. It can certainly solve some of your problems and open up opportunities and help you help yourself in the future and maybe those around you, but it's really just a tool, and you don't need infinite amounts of it just to keep up or impress people. So what's the quote? We buy things we don't need with money that we don't have to impress people we don't even care about. We think we need more and more and more, and the reality is you don't. And a friend once told me that jealousy is the root of all unhappiness. And I didn't really believe that or internalize that at first, but it has stuck with me for a long time, and I actually do find that that is true. It's really important to stop beating yourself up over the past. The past is the past, and we have all made plenty of mistakes that we regret and wish that we can do over, especially when it comes to money. So that could be going into credit card debt, that could be taking out a personal loan or a payday advance loan, taking out more money than you needed when it comes to your student loans and education. I know a couple of those are very personal to me, and it's really hard to look the numbers in the face because you think you're just gonna get mad at yourself when you do, but we need to let that be and really focus on small steps and the future. Because that's why you're here. This is really just a journey that you're on, and every single day really does matter. The next sort of sub-point here is I want you to confront your fear and anxiety when it comes to money. We are so scared to talk about money because it tends to make us very upset or turn into a fight at home. But if you're productive, thinking about your plans and your goals and taking your small steps each and every single day, money no longer has to be a root of stress. Your path forward is your plan, and that's really what this video series is about. And I really hope, if nothing else, you'll just be able to sleep better at night, not being so scared to think about money. This is getting a little long for the first point, but finally, this is to express gratitude. So don't forget, don't lose sight of all of the things that you do have. And I promise you do have a lot. We have roofs over our head, we have electricity and heat, and this time of year we really need it. We have friends, families, loved ones that really, really do care about us. And more important than anything else, I really hope you have your health. And by the way, you definitely have some sort of technology because you're watching this. So this is the action point, and that is to write down on that piece of paper or in that journal throughout the month all of the things that you truly are grateful for. Even better if you express it in the comments down below. Step number 2 is going to be thinking about your why. So we need to find our why, and from there, we need to set our big money goals. All of us have our reasons. All of us have the big picture why. So getting more money or savings is not your why. Think deep down, deeper than that. Are you hoping to travel more, go back to school, retire early, buy a house, start a family? Those are whys. Whys aren't your 1-year plan. We'll do that in a moment. A why is the life you hope to be living 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even 20 or 30 years from now. What does that look like? When do you hope to retire? What do you hope you would do in that retirement when you get there? One way to really think about this is, what if you didn't have to pay rent for the rest of this year or mortgage? Your housing was covered. Would you still work every single day? What is it that you would do? And I just challenge you to think about these sort of big picture questions as we get to the actionable part of this step, which is to determine your big goal or goals. And for the purpose of this exercise, we're really thinking about 1 year. So what is it you hope to accomplish at the end of 365 days? You can start this journey whenever you want. Let's determine your 1 year big goal or goals. And of course, this isn't set in stone, but this will help guide you. Here's some examples to get you thinking. Get out of credit card debt completely, especially if, by the way, you're over $10,000 in debt there. Pay off your car loan. Open and max out a Roth IRA. The limit in 2020 is $6,000. Create a $10,000 dividend investment portfolio. Save $15,000 for a down payment on a house. Completely pay off 2 of my 4 student loans. Earn an extra $10,000, but make sure you have a plan for what you intend to do with it and where you intend to put it. So take some time and really think about what is your big goal this year, and go ahead and write that down. I highly recommend you keep this goal visible. It could be something as simple as writing it on a Post-it and slapping it on your computer monitor. The other really key component of setting goals is tracking and keeping yourself honest. You take your big goal and you break it down into months. So one of my big goals is to create a course. So I've broken that down into videos every single month, and I know exactly when I'm gonna do it, and I've already outlined them all to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success. And I'm keeping myself honest by doing this semi-publicly by posting it here on my YouTube channel. You might want to consider some sort of tracker that you can check in on every week or every single month. A partner that is going through this process with you, you're both setting goals, and you set up time and you schedule time to have conversations. Whatever it is, I just hope that you do track your progress to keep you honest. That almost rhymed. Okay, so the third tip here to tackle in January, this is really where it gets extremely actionable and we really take off from here. So the third tip is to determine your net worth. There are lots of different ways you can do this, but first let's talk about what your net worth is. So in a nutshell, your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. Assets include your cash and investments like your 401k or retirement savings, your home or real estate, your car, and anything else of value that you own. Liabilities are what you owe, so your credit card debt, your car loans, your mortgage, your student loan debt. It doesn't include any upcoming bills or rent. It's only what you have minus what you currently owe. So for the sake of this exercise, I actually suggest you keep it simple and disregard your mortgage and any owned assets like vehicles or boats, etc. The value of a house or car is really hard to pinpoint and changes almost daily. So how could you determine your net worth? Well, you could certainly do it the old school way and log into every single one of your accounts and write it down on a piece of paper. You have all of your assets added up, all of your liabilities, you subtract the two numbers. This might actually be a negative number. This was for me, and it was a big shocker when I realized my net worth at the beginning of 2018 was nearly 6 figures negative. That's really scary to look at in the face, but it is so important that you're brutally honest with yourself and you find out your number. Because I have to say that did actually help me reassess my goal in my personal finance journey. I therefore set a goal to just become net worth positive within 2 years, and I definitely achieved that. Yeah, it felt insanely good the first time that I opened up my Betterment account, which is where I had been tracking my net worth, and I saw that the number was positive. I seriously nearly cried. So I mentioned Betterment. Betterment is somewhere you could track your net worth. I keep a safety net account there and a personal IRA account there. So then I logged in all of my accounts, connected them to Betterment, and Betterment updates every single day. And actually sooner than that, you can hit the refresh button. You could also use some fintech that's financial technology, some apps or some websites. I would recommend for this purpose using something like Mint, and Personal Capital is another one that I hear people rave about. So again, to recap, the action step here is to determine your net worth and write it down. Then you may want to go back to your big goal and see if that needs any adjustments. Number 4, we're gonna take something away, and this is going to be brunch and lunch. So not completely, let me be clear. This means no going out and no ordering takeout when it comes to brunch and lunch. This month, or for the next 30 days, no excessive spending on brunch or lunch. As in, no eating out before dinner, no takeout, no delivery, no bottomless mimosas with friends. Breakfast food is so affordable to cook up some eggs and bacon, and if you really want that mimosa, go get a bottle of cheap champagne. Don't know how to cook? That's totally fine. Everybody knows how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's 2 out of the 3 ingredients, by the way. That was like the first thing I cut out. I was going to Jimmy John's pretty much every single day. I really enjoyed, getting outside, kind of escaping the office for 45 minutes or so. So I walked down to Jimmy John's. There goes $7, $8, whatever, $9 every single day. I was no longer going to do that no matter what. Even if I forgot my lunch, I would take the bus, I would go home, I'd make a sandwich, and I'd go back to work. We'll call that a doctor's appointment. So to start, I actually challenge you to eat what you already have. So look in the pantry, look around the house. This could be mac and cheese, a tuna fish sandwich. If you're Dave Ramsey, he recommends rice and beans and rice. So focus on brunch, focus on lunch. And if you want to go and get some extra credit, no eating out with breakfast either, including the weekends. Now, don't get me wrong, you can certainly buy things from the grocery store that are easy lunches. So any, frozen healthy things you can bring to the office, or a small little salad that might run you $4 or $5 versus, again, $9, $10, $15 and up that I see a lot of coworkers doing often. Finally, the last tip here before we get to the hack is to save $500 in 30 days. And I'm not going to tell you the answer in how to do this because there's 2 obvious ways you can go about this. You can either cut back on your expenses and bank that savings, or you can go out there and earn some extra income via some sort of side hustle. So I would actually recommend you do some sort of hybrid of both. You could go drive for Uber or Lyft or Instacart delivering groceries, for example. Perhaps you're gonna go walk dogs for Rover. I just think this is a great month to think about trying something out. You don't need to stick with it long term, but put yourself out there and earn a little bit of extra money. This also could just be looking around the house and doing some sort of purge and selling anything that you might have of value. I would start with clothes and shoes. And it feels really, really good to just purge and get rid of things. Don't wait for spring. Let's do it right away in January and start fresh. And think about your things that you could cut back on. So we haven't yet created any sort of budget or written down all of our expenses and needs, but you know off the top of your head that you probably have several subscriptions. Think things like Netflix, Spotify, that Beer of the Month Club, anything like that you could cancel. And again, make sure that you bank that savings. I also created a video, which I'll link here, all about how to make money online. I think it's over 20 different ideas, some as simple as taking surveys and making quarters at a time. And don't forget, by the way, you're likely saving money on brunch and lunch, so bank that savings as well. Let's quickly recap the 5 steps. I'll put them right here. It was to change your money mindset. Number 2 is to set a SMART goal or goals. Number 3 is to determine your net worth. Number 4, no buying brunch or lunch for 30 days. And also within 30 days, save $500. Okay, let's get to your hack and media recommendation. The beginning of the year is a time that we start thinking about our trips that are more so obligations than just fun travel. The hack here is this is the perfect month to set your airfare alerts. So if you do happen to know any dates where you know you must travel, be sure that you set up alerts and do a little research and pull the trigger when the price is right. A couple of sites that I use and recommend are Google Flights, and Skyscanner is another. It's particularly great if you fly internationally. And of course, use those credit card points if you have some stashed away. Your media recommendation this month is a new-ish TV show. It's called Going From Broke. This was produced by Ashton Kutcher, actually, who makes an appearance in one of the shows. Crackle's a free app, and the show is totally free as long as you sit through commercials, of course. In each very short episode, a team of finance experts meets with an individual that has reached out for help. They attempt to change their financial outlook with sort of mixed results, I'd say, but it's emotional, it's honest, it's not overly produced. I have to admit, it made me feel a little bit better about myself because no matter how bad your situation is, there are people out there that have it worse. Either way, it is all extremely entertaining, top to bottom. So you could really crank this out in a weekend. Much better to binge watch something like this than waste your time on Netflix or whatever. That's it, guys. That is your 5 tips, your hack, and your media recommendation for January. I'll be back with a February video with the same structure on hopefully the 1st, so stay tuned for that. Once again, let me know what you thought of this video and this series in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because this actually took me a lot longer than most videos to put together, so that motivates me to keep going. Subscribe if you have not. Hit the bell for notifications because I've noticed it doesn't always tell you. Check out The Money Resolution on Instagram at The Money Resolution. Or on Facebook, I do have a group there called The Money Resolution as well. And that's it. As always, I will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Drink lots of water in 2020.